Monday, I had to go live. Most people are not ready for what's coming next. So I went live last Monday, and I feel like I need to go live again this Monday because there's news that happens, and it's like I record my videos and I can't even wait to tell you this stuff because I need you guys to know it, like, and take action on it immediately. So get in here, come on, get on in here. Let's get in here. We are going, come on, let's go. So like I said, most people are not ready for what's coming next. We really have like a job market that is collapsing. And so there's been a couple of changes that happened like in the past couple of weeks that I'm like, okay, get in here, let's talk about it. The Supreme Court, you guys know, already cleared it where Donald Trump, they lifted the thing saying that, you know, federal courts cannot intervene if Trump and the administration wants to lay off, you know, thousands or millions or hundreds of thousands, whatever they want to do, thousands, hundreds of thousands, whatever they want to lay off with federal employees, they are going to be allowed to lay all of these people off. And so that's going to have some trickle down effects. Obviously, there are the federal government hires is the #1 employer in some areas. You guys know that, right? So if all of those people get laid off, what does that do to the housing market? What does that do to other businesses? What does that do to the school system, the tax base? So lots of layoffs really affect a lot of areas. You know, certain cities, like, you know, smaller cities, for example, there are cities where the federal government is the #1 employee. So come on in here. Let's get in here. Let me get those likes up. Go ahead and like this video. We got 109 of y'all already in here, over 100 people, and only a few likes. Come on and go ahead and press that like button. And you can just swipe up to like this. Because like I said, we have massive layoffs that's coming. So let me kind of get into this because, like I said, one is that Supreme Court ruling. And a lot of people are not talking about that Supreme Court ruling where now the Trump administration has the ability to lay off. Okay, and they're going forward with a lot of those layoffs. A lot of those layoffs have started to happen. And you know, although I'm an entrepreneur and I have a lot of entrepreneur friends, I do still have people that their business, for example, is tied to the federal government. Think about that. Federal contracts are getting canceled. They're giving them to bigger corporations, and a lot of the smaller corporations and the smaller businesses that were allowed to get those government contracts, they're not getting that preferential treatment anymore. Well, I shouldn't even say preferential treatment. They were trying to actually even out the playing field. So federal contracts, for the most part, were always going to these really big corporations, you know, Lockheed and Halliburton. We already know these really big corporations. They were getting all of the big contracts. And so they actually started opening it up. People called it DEI, but allowing more entrepreneurs to get federal contracts. You know, even if you're a business owner, you would want a federal contract. Come on, get these likes up. And yet that is going to be cut. So there's going to be some down effects there. And again, this is not a doom and gloom video. Noelle Randall is never going to come up here and say, let's doom and gloom, let's cry about it. There are things that we can do, and I'm going to give you those solutions as well. Stay here with me. Go ahead and like this video. Stay here with me for the next 20 minutes. Let me just go over these things with you, and let me give you these real world solutions that you can do, because that's really, really important that we start taking action, because there's things that's coming in the job market, and you don't want to be caught with one job, you know what I mean, with one source of income. It just doesn't cut it anymore in this economy. We know that. And so if we're saying, wow, I'm going to need another stream of income, I'm going to talk to you guys about that and how you're going to create your own businesses and have these. Even if you have a job, you're not going to get caught off guard and get laid off. Okay, like I don't want that for you. I want you to be thinking, have even your business on the side. So if they did lay you off, you like, baby, I don't even care. Noelle Randall used to work a job. I remember when I no longer cared about having my job if I got laid off. I also am going to tell you some stuff so you're not the first person to get laid off. Hey Shakita, hey Pamela, hey Neo, hey Khalid, hey. Okay, so let's keep going. So like I said, not only are we talking about layoffs with the federal government, okay, and all of those layoffs that are going to happen. The federal government is going to be cutting a lot of jobs. The Trump administration, that is one of the things that they want to do. And a lot of what they talked about in the big, beautiful bill, giving funding to ICE and giving funding to DOGE, you know, the Department of Government Officials, that's really of efficiency. That's really just to cut jobs. Y'all get that, right? That's just to cut jobs. That's what that is for. And use that money, in other words, to give it to corporations, give it to rich people so that they will create jobs. That's the idea. And I'm not saying that is true. I'm not saying that it's not a true. Noelle's not going to necessarily, I'm going to tell you, I am going to give you my opinion. That's not really true. What's going to happen is they're going to use that extra money that they don't have to pay in taxes, and they're going to invest that. They're going to buy assets. That's what businesses do. They will invest in the stock. They will invest in buying more equipment, all of the things that they are incentivized for. Which brings me to my second point. In the big, beautiful bill, you guys will notice lots of tax incentives were given to rich people and corporations. Most of the bill, that's where a lot of the spending went, cutting their tax bill and giving them incentives and money. But one of the things that you did not see in that big, beautiful bill was things to increase payroll. So a lot of times when the legislators will have a bill, they will say, let's give money to companies so that they will hire, okay? So that they will hire more people. That did not happen in this bill. So it's going to be on you to say you need to increase your own income. I'm going to encourage you right now today. You got to start increasing your income, not just relying and saying that, you know, maybe they're going to give me a raise, because in that bill, it's so funny. They gave all that money to corporations, but they didn't give any money to incentivize them to increase pay or to increase hiring or increase payroll or the number of people on payroll. And usually in these budget bills, that is in there, guys. That's usually in a budget bill where they'll give a corporation incentives to hire more people. That did not happen. So one more time, you're going to put this in there and say, I want you guys to come to the Grow Your Wealth Bootcamp. Use the code FINAL50, okay? I'm almost sold out. It's July 26, 2025. That's this Saturday. I'm going to be teaching all day. Okay, so all-day class is interactive, where we're going to be talking about building business, structuring it right so that you can get business credit and business funding. There's a lot of funding out there for businesses, and I want to make sure that you get that. So go to growyourwealthbootcamp.com right now. Use code FINAL50. We're almost sold out, and I want you to get those things, okay? Look, the landscaper is looking at me. Go ahead, go ahead. He can't. Y'all can't hear the landscaper guy. He was asking me if it was okay. But I don't want to drive and try to do this live, so I just parked my car real quick. So let's keep going. Okay. So that's one of the things that when I talk about solutions, like what can you do for this job market? Because again, there's going to be layoffs. We know that. Okay, it's going to be a lot of layoffs first of all, in the federal government. We know that. So if you're a federal employee, there's lots of talk. There's people that had even just left before they even got laid off, because they were like, you know what? This is something where I know we're going to be getting laid off, or they're going to be trying to cut pay. It's going to be hectic, or they're going to cut these departments so much that my job is going to be, you know, I have to do two people's jobs, or I don't even have enough people to do what I need to get done. So a lot of federal employees are like, I'm out. They're just like, I'm out. They're leaving out before the layoffs happen. Come on, let's get those likes up, because I'm telling y'all some real information that people are telling me, and I'm sharing this with you. Come on, we have over 256 people in here. Thank you so much. Let's at least get 100 likes. Come on, I need more of you guys. Just like, all you have to do is swipe up. That really helps with these videos. Please, that helps me. It's absolutely free. I appreciate that. And again, if you want to come to the Grow Your Wealth Bootcamp this Saturday, July 26th, okay? 11 a.m. we start. Tickets are, I can give you 50% off. Just use the code FINAL50. We're down to our last few tickets. Get your ticket. It's very interactive because you can ask your questions. Not only will I teach you, but you can ask your questions, and I'm able to answer people's questions. And if you upgrade to VIP, you get a VIP session as well, Q&A. So let's keep going. So like I said, federal jobs, they're going to affect other businesses, because some communities, like certain cities, think of like cities in like St. Louis, Missouri, or not like Atlanta, Georgia. There's a lot of people in Atlanta, so it's a big enough city. But smaller cities, you know, like a city I live in, Orlando, that would be a smaller city. But we don't have a lot of federal jobs. We have a lot of Disney jobs here. So if you are in a community, for example, like a St. Louis, just a smaller city, and most of your, in a big chunk of your community, 10% works for the federal government, that affects all the other businesses. If you're a business owner and you get federal contracts, one of the first things they started cutting back on was the federal contracts, where they were trying to increase more Black people, more minorities, more women or business owners, so that they could get federal contracts. That's cut. They cut that, which is kind of crazy. So fine, There's other ways where you can get business funding so that you can get into other sectors. You can be in the private sector. You can market your business. You can run ads. You can put logos on t-shirts. You can buy vehicles and put them in your business's name. There's a lot of other things that you can do, so you can stop worrying about what this administration is doing and just have a steady flow of income for yourself, another stream of income for yourself, and where you have the ability to do this over and over again, because you can actually set up a business, get business credit and get business funding and do it over and over again. Literally end up with millions of dollars in business funding in your business's name. But there's a legitimate and way to do this where you're legally setting the business up, you're structuring it the right way, and then you're opening up the door to all of this funding that's out there. Instead of trying to rely on some of these social programs that they're cutting, Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP benefits, a lot of that stuff not only is being cut, they're really trying to get rid of those things. So, okay, not ideal. I'm not saying that it is ideal or the thing that we want to do. But what I'm saying is we have a solution. So the first thing that I want to make sure that you're doing, like I said, come into the boot camp because that's upgrading your skill. But number one, really, seriously, is going to be getting an emergency fund. Because we know these layoffs are happening. We know that hiring is going to go down, okay? Unemployment has been steady at 4.2, but they're not adding a lot more jobs to the job market. More people are realizing that, okay, I can't even have 2 and 3 jobs. I should then have 2 and 3 businesses. Okay, 2 and 3 businesses, my own businesses, because then each of those businesses are their own entity that can get funding. So the first thing, of course, that you're going to want, if you know layoffs are coming, is an emergency fund. You need 3 to 6 months of your business, of your expenses, your personal expenses paid, your car note, your house note, like put that aside. That's the first thing. Whenever, especially when layoffs are coming, you're like, oh man, they about to be laying people off. Get your savings together so in case you are laid off, you're not caught off guard. You know this is coming. You know this is happening. So let's be proactive. So that's the emergency fund. But number 2 is multiple streams of income. Create another stream of income for yourself. Take that side hustle seriously. Like Noelle Randall used to be an employee. I used to work for companies. I actually was a VP at banks, Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. But I would do real estate on the side. So I had my rental properties. That way I was able to leave my job, stop being an employee and be a full-time entrepreneur. But I didn't just quit my job as soon as I started. I flipped one house. You get what I'm saying? You get that money to the side, your emergency fund, you have another stream of income. So you're working that job. So even if the layoffs come, you're ready. But number 3, this is the important thing. Upgrading your skills. So one of the reasons why I'm telling you come to the boot camp, the growyourwealthbootcamp.com, use code FINAL50 to save 50%. One of the reasons why I'm saying come to that is so you can learn a new skill. Even if you don't use it right away. I've been to different classes, different conferences, different seminars, and I learned something. And then sometimes I wasn't able to just do it right then and there. But I wrote it down and I was able to come back to it. So a lot of you will come to the Grow Your Wealth Bootcamp, and on Monday, I promise y'all gonna be filling out applications, y'all gonna be getting money, y'all gonna be getting grants. But for some of you, you might do that a little bit later. But it's a skill that you have. It's a skill that you can use going forward. And that's what I want to encourage you for, okay? So upgrading your skills, and not just upgrading your skills for your own business, you may upgrade your skill for your job so you're not one of the first people to get laid off. Okay, let me be clear. Layoffs, especially in the federal government, we already know that's happening. It has already started. And what's going to happen is going to affect other people's businesses. So there are businesses that rely on the federal government's employees and federal contracts. So that will lead to more layoffs. Y'all realize that? Okay, so you want to have a skill where you're not the first person to be laid off. And I'm going to even take this a step further. As a former vice president, at one point I was over 200 employees, indirects and indirects, not every 200 people reporting to me. And I would tell you unequivocally, if you don't want to be one of the first people to be laid off, don't be the problem at the job. Lay low. And I'm not saying go in there and say nothing, because then you will kind of get laid off if you're never helping. But what I'm saying is don't be the one that's always late. Don't be the one that's always leaving early. Don't be the one that always has to call out, or I have this issue, and telling everybody about all of your personal issues at work. You're going to be one of the first people to get laid off. When managers go to do layoffs, they do something called a stack rank. Okay, we rank all of our employees from top to bottom. The bottom ones are the first ones to go. And you guys know when I'm talking about a job collapse and I'm saying there's layoffs coming, there's going to be rounds of layoffs. They don't just lay everybody off at one time, because some of the people they lay off that they lay off, they could go. And then some of them, they need them to kind of do their job and train other people. And then there'll be another round of layoffs. They always do like rounds of layoffs. So you don't want to get caught in that first round, because that means you're one of the worst. And I mean that with love. Either you're one of the most highly paid people and they feel like they don't need you. You know, you're like a middle manager and you're getting all of this money and you're not really contributing or producing anything tangible. You manage something or someone. Or you're an absolute problem. You come in late, you give problems, then you get on everybody's nerves. So you're going to be one of those people that get laid off. So you know layoffs are coming. If that's been you, start quieting down, working on your side hustle. You walk into work, you go there on time, you're doing your job, and you're working on your thing. I know there are people that say salary shaming and putting you down for having a job. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, there's freedom in being an entrepreneur. Trust me, as somebody that used to work a job, 2 jobs sometimes. You would much rather be able to feed yourself. You'd much rather be able to not worry about getting laid off and have your own way of receiving income. Having your own business, you now have a skill set that you know that you can do to earn money, and you're not relying on someone else. Yes, we all may start off working a job relying on someone else, but eventually you want to be able to feed yourself. You do not want to be a lion in a zoo. You are an amazing beast. You are an animal, and you need to be out doing what you do, having your free time, owning your time, and still having the money. But that's a process. But I'm going to say the second thing too is with working a job is that uncertainty. That's a lot of stress. So if there is a stress with being an entrepreneur, I'm not going to lie, having your own business comes with its own stresses. But it's not like working a job is stress-free. It's not like working a job has all of the security and stability. They literally have walked in and laid me off. They've probably laid you off. Everybody's been laid off, fired, lost their job. It's unexpected. But here's what I'm saying. We can actually see some of this stuff coming. Right? Right? Dwayne says priceless. Diamond says, how can you get a business loan by not using your personal social security number if there is a way? Yes, there is a way. Yes, that's what I'm saying. You literally use your EIN, your employer identification number. You really think that all the business owners, you think that the CEO of Walmart is putting his social security number on a loan for Walmart? You think that Tesla, Elon Musk has to put his social security number on an application to get a loan? No, no. Businesses have an EIN that works like your social security number, and you can borrow in the EIN's number if you structure the business properly. Okay, so that's one of the things that I'm literally teaching at the Grow Your Wealth Bootcamp. We're really going to delve into this. This is a bootcamp not really about real estate. It really is all about business credit, business funding, and then doing what you do with that business funding to really grow your wealth. Because there are things that you can do with your business credit that brings you in income. You know that every single month there's ETFs we can buy. There's businesses that we can invest in. There are and I'm not talking about crypto, okay? There's real ways that you can actually start getting in dividend income and money in every month. And you even use borrowed money to do it. Okay, and that takes a lot of the risk off of you, because once you're borrowing now in the business's name, if something, terribly goes wrong with the business, well, awesome. You could file bankruptcy in the business's name the same way that our president did. You realize that. You don't have to file personal bankruptcy. And again, those are really, really terrible situations that I don't even want you guys thinking about. Most people have a business, they do not file bankruptcy. You actually can earn money in your business, especially when you learn the game of business funding, where you have all of these different business lines of credit, business credit cards, business loans, so you can actually ramp up your business the right way. You can run ads on your business all the time, so you always have business coming in. Noelle Randall is never in need of business. Why? Because I always have my marketing going, and I'm not just talking about YouTube. I have ads that run, billboards, radio, different things, and that's what you do with your business funding, so you always have those streams of revenue coming in, okay? And with your business, essentially, especially when it comes to advertising and marketing, I'll teach you some of that stuff as well at the boot camp. So again, come to the boot camp, because not only will I teach you how to set the business up properly, how to get business credit, how to get business funding, how to buy assets in using that money that you get, not using your own money, and then more importantly, how to keep the business going year after year after year. I've been in the business over 10 years, okay? I didn't just one day pop up and have a great business and boom, I live in a mansion and drive a fancy car. It took time, but this is things I never would have been able to achieve working for someone else. And that's why I tell you these things. It really is with love. You can earn a lot of money working in your own business, and you actually can do less. Okay, you can easily have a business where you make $20,000, $30,000 per month and you only work a few days a month. That is not crazy. Literally not at all. I did that. And so many people do, because that's not really that much money to an entrepreneur, but that's really a lot of money for most people. You can have a very easy life at $20,000, $30,000 per month, especially if you're not working all the time and it just comes, okay, from your royalties and your rentals and your business income and different investments that you've done and dividend income and different things like that I'm going to teach you. You can buy income producing assets with business funding. And that's what I'm going to teach you at the Grow Your Wealth Bootcamp. So get your tickets to the Grow Your Wealth Bootcamp. Go to growyourwealthbootcamp.com. Use code FINAL50. We're almost sold out. The event is this Saturday, July 26, 2025. We start at 11 a.m. Eastern and we go all day to 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be teaching you with 2 other people all day long. This is not a live. It will be an actual bootcamp, actual class where you could do stuff. Okay. Thank you, Ann Peterson. All right, let's get those likes up. Y'all have over 300 people in here. We only have 130 likes. Come on, just hit the like button. If everybody in here would just quickly hit the like button, I could easily get to 300 likes. Come on, guys. I'm gonna stay here. Just go ahead. Thank you, Lenny, for subscribing. Lenny Diamonds, I really appreciate that. I do. Like I said, I don't come on the live to brag or front or flex or anything like that. I really do come to encourage you. I used to be broke, bankrupt, bad credit, living in my parents' basement. Today, I'm an author, a speaker. I have rental properties. I'm a multimillionaire, and I want you to do those same things. And I want to encourage you, not tell you that you can't do it, not give you bad news all the time and put you down. No, there's some simple skills that you can learn where you will never have to worry about getting laid off again. In fact, you're the person that might be laying people off, because let's be clear. We know when the economy is going down and different things like that, it's going to be payroll that they cut. And so if you're an expense to a business, that you're one of the expenses they can cut. You don't want to be that. You don't want to be that. You want to be able to, the kingmaker, the queen maker. You make it rain. You make your business. You decide if you are laying off or if you're going to go to people overseas, people from India, people from Philippines to get your work done. Because that's another thing they do that you can do too. And I'll show you how to do that. I have a lot of employees in different countries. Colombia. I've had people in Ukraine working for me. Literally, you can outsource a lot of the stuff in your business for a low price. And again, where do you get the money? Business funding, just like every other business. Just like Walmart. Walmart doesn't save up the money to fill up those shelves. Walmart doesn't save money to, save up enough money so that they can hire cashiers. That's not what they do. They have lines of credit, they have loans, they have business credit cards, and you too can do those exact same things. And that's what I want you to know, so that you're not worried about this job collapse. So you're not worried about these massive layoffs that are coming. So that you're not worried about just the uncertainty of tariffs. Like let's just talk about that for 1 second. The tariff situation is creating so much uncertainty. So much uncertainty in so many industries. The auto industry as just one example, and all of the ancillary businesses that go with auto businesses. Tariffs has created that much uncertainty. So if you want to take back control, you have to take back control of your finances. You have to take back control of your business. You have to take back control of your life and not rely on other people. Yes, there are things that are going to happen that are beyond your control. But there are ways that you can always be atop of that, because you're not relying on somebody else. You don't need somebody else, okay? And take it from somebody that did used to need somebody else, okay? Now, I'm not just talking about a job. Yes, I have been on social services, like not welfare per se, but like WIC and stuff like that. I received EBT cards. I've had one of those. So I understand, and I want you to understand. I understand, but that is just something that happened. And that doesn't have to be like your reality. You can move past that and never look back. Never look back. Like, thank you, I appreciate that, but you know what, I'm moving forward and I'm going to be able to feed my own self. I recently had a a book that I've just came out with called Making It, where I wrote the book with 9 other authors. Okay, so it's 10 people in the book, and one of the authors and one of the chapters in the book, I want you guys to get this book. If you get tickets, actually I'll make this, if you get your ticket to the Grow Your Wealth Bootcamp, okay, today only, today is Monday the 21st, and y'all, just so y'all can see, I'm not lying, there go the date right there, Monday the 21st. Can y'all see that? I don't know if y'all can see that, but today is Monday the 21st. My card tells me that. If you buy your ticket today, Monday the 21st, I'll give you a free copy of the Making It book. In that book, Devonica, she talks about how she got kicked out of her grandmother's house when she was pregnant. That never happened to me. Again, I told y'all my story, bankrupt and all of that other stuff. But getting kicked out of your grandmother's house while you're pregnant, and she just said, you know, the lesson she told us she learned from that, I'll skip to the end, was that she made sure that's never going to happen to her again. And those are the times where I'm like, yes, salute. And that's when I be saluting all of my different students, and I hear y'all stories. I love that. I've been through a hardship like that, many of them. And what I always resolve to myself is that's not going to happen to me again. I'm going to learn something and I'm going to do it. And now I teach it. I learn, I do, I teach. And that's what I want you guys to do. I want you to learn stuff. I want you to do stuff. I want you to teach it. People taught me all kind of skills. And I don't care what the skill is. If it's cutting grass, cutting hair, we all have skills that we can monetize. You can make a lot of money cutting hair. Okay? Don't think that, oh, I'm a barber, I can't make a lot of money. Yes, you can. I know barbers that make $500,000 a year. Okay? I know people that cut grass that make millions. They have a landscaping business, and they took their business credit in many cases and grew the business. That's another thing. Most people grow their business with funding. So even if you have a smaller business, how do you get that to be a bigger business? Easily, with money. And most people say, well, you can't make money without money. Well, you can't make a lot of money without some money. And it doesn't have to be your money. Okay, I don't know. Somebody said do 10 push-ups. Do 10 push-ups. I cannot do no 10 push-ups. Maybe I can. I don't know. Thank you, Dwayne, for being, yes, you are very welcome. I always try to be vulnerable and honest about that stuff. And I try not to cry when I think of those stuff. And other people tell me their stories like that. But I love when people are like resilient, like I'm never going back. You know what I mean? Like Dwayne, you had told me your story. I love it. Like, you know what? I struggled in high school, barely got out of high school. And you know what? I'm doing this and I've made money. Yes, those types of stories, those types of things exist. We are, as people, don't always have to remain down, okay? And we can help each other. And one of the ways that I helped myself when I was bankrupt and broke is I started going to classes, I started going to seminars, I started going to conferences, I started networking with new people. And that's the opportunities that I want to create and make them really, really inexpensive for you. I don't want the boot camp to cost, you know, $500 and $1,000 like some of my other events where, you know, I have to feed you and all those other stuff. The Grow Your Wealth boot camp, I want you to come to that. You can stay right at home. It's right from your computer or your phone. You don't have to travel anywhere. You log in and you'll be able to see me live stream. And again, it's on a Zoom code. It's on a Zoom so that we can communicate with one another. You can message me. I can take you off mute, different things like that. It's very interactive. All right. So that's growyourwealthbootcamp.com. Use code FINAL50. Okay. Like I said, the event is this Saturday, the 26th. Okay. July 26th. Starting at 11 a.m. So we're almost sold out. We have sold so many tickets, and then we have a limit on how many. And if you go to the page and you can't buy the tickets, that means it's completely sold out. But we did try to open it up and make a little bit more room. All right, come on, guys. I need 200 likes. I only have 185. Come on, I need you guys. Click the like button real quick. Powerpuff Princess says, I'm half Jamaican, half English. Yes. Yes, I was born in the U.S. I am Jamaican. I say I'm Jamaican because my parents are Jamaican. My sister was born in Jamaica, but I was actually born in the U.S. So I love my Jamaican people, my grandmother, my grandparents. I love that. So big up. Where is the boot camp? Like I just said, it is online. I'm going to be in a live studio, live streaming. I'm not going to be in like my car or anything like that. So I have really stable internet. But you can just do it right from your computer. You're going to get a login and you'll attend. Just like that. And you can log in, be eating your food, you know, put yourself on mute and just listen, get your pen, get your paper out, get your pen, get your paper out. Like I said, have notes. Like I was like writing down little stuff that was happening. Like the Supreme Court has allowed him to do these, just to recap, the Supreme Court has allowed Donald Trump to lay off all of those federal employees. Lots of them have already started. The layoffs have started. The federal employees that are getting laid off is going to be thousands, and it's going to affect other industries as well. Federal contracts to DEI people, I'm going to use their term, federal contracts to DEI has ceased. So a lot of the contracts that a lot of businesses were starting to get, a lot of that is going away, but there's still a lot of money out there in the traditional way, okay? It's just like not advertised. Additionally, there's grant money out there, free money for businesses, okay? Is out there. The big beautiful bill that just passed, they did not incentivize companies to hire. Usually in budget bills, there's a lot of incentives and tax breaks for companies that add to their payroll. They didn't do that. They didn't care about them hiring and giving out jobs. They didn't care about companies hiring people. That means what? That they're going to be able to cut people too. They also didn't incentivize them for keeping people on the payroll. So it's a lot that's going to be happening in the job market. And what I'm always going to encourage you guys to do is to have another stream of income. Do not rely on one stream of income. And then, like I said, have your emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of your expenses, but you don't have to save that. Imagine if I gave you a $100,000 line of credit where your business, your 6 months worth of expenses, let's just say it's $6,000. I'm just going to use a round number. We have $94,000 left. Okay, and you just make sure you never touch that, because you could use it to pay your bills if you needed to. So, and that would actually allow you to even make more money. Again, if I gave you $100,000 to invest in your business probably going to grow at least double. Mine actually grew 4 times once I started getting all these business lines of credit and was able to run ads, get more inventory, hire people, upgrade my software. So many things you can do with business funding, but more importantly, you can use it as an emergency fund, and you can use it to have reserves, so you don't feel the stress of being an entrepreneur so much. Having money available to you really does make being an entrepreneur a lot less stressful, because what makes being an entrepreneur stressful is those ups and downs. And whenever you start your business, and whether you're in it 1 year or in your first 3 years, you're going to have ups and downs. But if you have money set to the side, or a line of credit that you can use in case you don't just have to just shut the whole business down. You don't have to go out of business. You don't have to start living out of your car and stuff like that. You really can keep going and keep the business growing on an upward trajectory. Okay, and I'll even teach you how to get some investors, all right, at this event. So I want to see you at the Grow Your Wealth Bootcamp. Go to growyourwealthbootcamp.com. Use code final 50 to save 50% off the final tickets. Okay. And then, like I said, just to kind of, and then the last thing, what I was saying is, if you are still working that job and you know layoffs are coming, here's my quick advice to you. Go into the job and don't be a problem. Go in there, be good, be kind, be sweet while you're working on your business on the side, so that you're not in the first round of layoffs. So you're going to basically be building your wealth quietly. Okay. I became a millionaire with a job. Okay, and they did not know. I had to just kind of keep it to myself and just keep that quiet, because then they will lay you off, because they'll be like, oh, you don't need this job. And maybe you don't. Maybe you will start to say, I don't give a and go around the job saying that type of stuff, but that's the important part. Okay, growyourwealthbootcamp.com, code final 50. Okay, it's funny. Mimi Soto just said, I got COVID this week and I had to call in. Well, hopefully it's not a job that they're going to be doing layoffs at. All right. I love it. All my hoes demonetized. Love your content. I love your name, even though that's a little funny to me. All my hoes demonetized. All right, guys. This is Noelle Randall. Like I said, I want to see you at the Grow Your Wealth Bootcamp this Saturday. Get your tickets right now. I cannot wait to see you there. Answer all of your questions. Let us build this thing together. Let's network with one another. Some of you already have great businesses. I would love to learn about those as well. It's a great experience, too, for us to network and get to know one another. And for you to get to know all of the other people in the audience. Usually we have like 500, 1,000 people there. And you can get some really, really great connections by coming to different events, just like Noelle Randall did. So, all right, growyourwealthbootcamp.com. Use code final50 to save 50%. I will see you there July 26, 2025 at 11 a.m. Eastern, all day to 6 p.m. Eastern. All right, this is Noelle Randall. To your success. Hit that like button. Subscribe.